हाय एवरीवन, जय हिंद, जय भारत, जय माता दी। वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल मर्चेंट नेवी डिकोडेड। मेरे साथ है राजीव कौशिक सर और आज का एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वीडियो है बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू कवर अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन एंड दैट इज शुड वी इन्वेस्ट इन एफडी और वी शुड इन्वेस्ट इन म्यूचुअल फंड्स। सर, व्हाट इज योर आंसर?
It is just like a question that we ask that whether it is NPS or PPF or ELSS. In a similar way, it does not have to be this or that. It can be FD and mutual funds because FDs and all the PPF that we discussed or investing in even sovereign gold bonds or for the children, for the girls in Sukanya scheme, all this consists of a debt portfolio, which is necessary. As we have talked about in an earlier video, and we will do it in future, that it is very important to maintain a asset allocation. Asset allocation between fixed income or debt, between equity, which is stock based, and also gold. At the moment, these are the three broad parameters which is available to us. In future, we might talk about REITs, which is for real estate, but that is in future. So we have to maintain a balance. So for a normal person who does not have too much of a responsibility, it is taken for granted that he should have at least 75% in equity, 20 in debt, and 5% in gold. In gold, by the way of physical gold, sovereign gold bonds, or exchange traded funds of gold. These are the formats we should have. So now it does not have to be FD or MF. It has to be FD and MF. Like we have already said that because you're earning in foreign currency and your money is coming from outside, as a measure of having to need this money sometimes for your own education, higher education, or your children's education at a later stage, or you're settling down in some other foreign country, maybe you want to take a superintendent's job later on, or you want to, after taking a education in Harvard or Wharton, you want to settle down for some other jobs. For this, you might need money. So it is always good to maintain some money in your NREFD, and if the interest rate is in favor, as if it might happen in the later part of 2022, you can also take up FCNR. So it is important. Why? Because suppose the NRE FD rate today is 5.5 and you're not having to pay tax on that. So you can add 30% which otherwise would have been taxed. So it becomes almost 7%, which is a good amount because it is tax free and it grows, and it is important to keep that. We will advise later on in a video which we will make on debt funds after you start understanding these mutual funds better, because debt funds are a little difficult to understand. You must understand that it is important to maintain some amount of your earnings in FDs, and this money, these FDs, you should select for a tenure where the returns are the best. I'll give you a very good instance. I have been a mutual fund investor for almost this century, 2000, since 2000. And in 2008, mostly I was moving all my funds from my salary and my debt funds into equity. Why? Because the market had fallen down. I had completely ignored my asset allocation because I was very definite that this opportunity, when the market had crashed to 50%, yes, my holding had come down by 50%, but I had still been investing my salary in this. Then in 2011, what happened was that I had started again building back my debt portfolio, and on in December 2011, the RBI deregulated the NRE FD rates. It said you can keep as much as you want. So all the banks, SBI was the first one, all the banks, they made their rates of interest from 5 to 9.5, and I think SBI was 9.75 from 1 to 10 years. I did not waste any time. There was no WhatsApp groups or any. I just circulated messages amongst my friends and colleagues and whatever. And on 1st to 2nd of January 2012, we booked, transferred all our money from debt fund to our NRE account and moved everything to NRE FDs in SBI. Later on, I also did in one private bank where I had my FDs, and one of those FDs I had recently matured this year. Now this is important because we will discuss little later on. But you see, you should take advantage of the opportunity. You must not think because I keep saying about mutual funds, I have some love lost with the mutual funds. We have to be vigilant, we have to be alert for any opportunity which arises because of government policies. Like presently, the government is increasing its repo rate and reverse repo rate, and because of which the interest rates have gone up. I believe some banks are even offering NRE FD rates of 7.5%, but I don't agree with that. You should go with standard and reliable banks where you can get good returns and for a largely good amount of time. If you can lock your FDs to about 10 years in this time, it's good. Tomorrow, if again the rate changes to a little higher, you can rebook those, liquidate and rebook those FDs, even if it at a certain loss of interest, doesn't matter. But FDs is important, and at the same time, mutual funds are important. What is important is how to keep the balance, which we call asset allocation. And why asset allocation? Because at certain times, suppose the stock market is down and you need the money, so your fixed income schemes or your debt funds or your debt allocation will come in handy to you if you need the money. That time you should not have to sell your equity holding for less than what you had purchased it for. So this will actually help you. Now another thing was, you might be asking that since I had booked these FDs in 2012, then how did I continue them till 2022? 10 years. Well, what happens is that when you become a resident, you declare your status to the bank and you declare your KYC becomes that of a resident. Your FD need not be changed to a resident FD. I mean, not in the nature. You keep taking the interest certificate from the bank and file it with your returns, pay tax on it. Because you are already getting a higher rate than a resident, so paying a tax on it, you still remain in profit, which I have done in this decade, 1 decade. So when when the opportunity arises in debt funds, you move there. When the opportunity arises in bank FDs, you move there. At a certain stage, I have also mentioned in one of the videos that you should not allow your FDs to go above 50 lakhs, even if when you become a senior, because more than that, you waste your money as an opportunity cost. If that same money stays in your equity, it will earn about 15%, 17%, even 20%, depending upon the fund. So we should create a balance. Balance is the essence of life. So it is not FD or mutual funds. It is this and that and that.
So in simple means, if I have to say, I'll say never put all your eggs in one basket.
Correct.
Asset allocation, we have already made a video on that.
Yes.
Please go through that video, and I hope so it will help you learn, grow, and let us keep sharing knowledge. That is very important.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Diversification is the essence of life.
Diversification is the essence of life. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata Di.